Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to talk and review the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Now this is the second of what Marvel is calling the special presentations, which are these short films that are about 40 to 50 minutes. Now granted, they're pretty much about 40 minutes, got about 5 minutes of credits. So just like Werewolf by Night, it's another holiday themed special, and we're not sure if all of the special presentations are gonna be holiday themed. There's only been two and they've both been holiday themed, but to be fair, Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special, has been in the works for quite some time. In fact, James Gunn's been talking about doing this since before Guardians of the Galaxy 2 ever even came out. So that just tell you right there just how long this has been in the works. This has been in the works for quite some time. Kevin Feige just the other day said that this was when they were first starting to make stuff for Marvel, when they were like for Disney Plus, when they were first starting to come up with the concept of things they were going to make for Disney Plus, the holiday special was the first project that came up. Obviously, all the stuff with James Gunn and him having to do them firing him and him going to work for Warner Brothers and making the Suicide Squad and all the things that he's done have kind of thrown all that in a whack. But in a different world, hard to believe this if you really sit back and think about it. In another world, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special would have been one of the first things we saw on Disney Plus. Like I say, it's crazy to think about now, but it would have been. It would have been one of the first things we saw on Disney Plus. So in a way, this special has been long in the makings. Now, from the very first Guardians, we've all, most fans, even some of the descriptions of the first Guardians movie was like a modern day version of Star Wars, was like a different take on a Star Wars type movie. So, and Star Wars is known for a lot of stuff. It's known for a lot of good, known for a lot of bad. But one of the most notorious things it's known for is that god-awful Christmas special. And, it was awful, but that Christmas special introduced a lot of concepts and a special Mandalorian that we would all know and love. So it introduced a lot of concepts and whatnot that would go on to become real things. So Star Wars fans kind of hold that special, and plus a lot of people saw that when they were children, and when you're a child, you can't really tell something's terrible most of the time. You can't really tell that something you're watching is terrible, especially when it's colorful and whatnot. But, so a lot of kids grew up on that. That holiday special is something that Star Wars fans always harken back to when Christmas comes around. So of course, James Gunn gets to make his own holiday special. Now, with all that being said, how was it? It was a fucking great time. Honestly, I didn't realize how much I miss the Guardians. It's been a while since we've seen them. We saw them in Thor: Love and Thunder, but they were there for about 10, but they were there about for 10 minutes, 10, 12 minutes. There really wasn't a lot of arc there. They were just there. So that Marvel didn't have to explain why Thor wasn't with them throughout their movie. So that Marvel wouldn't have to explain why they don't have Thor in their movie. That's the only reason they were there. They were there to have a seamless transition so that they don't have to go through that. That's why they were there in the movie. They weren't there to bring any story or have an arc or anything. They were just there for that. So we really didn't get to see too much of them. And they were being written by Taika, so they were obviously written a bit differently. But here, completely directed and written by James Gunn, it feels so nostalgic almost, coming back to this Guardians group, and we really don't know how much time has passed since Thor: Love and Thunder, though you get a vibe that time has to have passed because Thor's not here, so you would have to assume this takes place after the events of Thor: Love and Thunder. But yeah, the Guardians, things have changed. First of all, Peter, he was always the leader. But I don't know how to say it, but it was always one of those things where where it was he's the leader, but he was still kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? He was still kind of childish a bit. He was still kind of childish. He was still kind of not that he was uncertain about his leadership role, but it always just kind of felt like he was kind of like like how Mr. Fantastic often, and even in the comics and a lot of the movies, a lot of times Mr. Fantastic just kind of, we know he's the leader, but quite often he's not the one actually giving the orders. And sure, Peter does, but I feel like in this special, more than ever before, you really get the vibe that Peter is the leader. Like, they are hanging on his word. And like I was like, there's a lot of growth with that character, and you see it in this. There's a lot of growth with all the characters, and you see it in this. But the special, this 40-minute special, is about Peter, is about Nebula, Nebula and Drax feeling like they need to help pep Peter up to have the Christmas spirit, because they heard a story about how Yondu ruined Christmas for Peter, and he never quite recovered from that, so now he's all mopey around Christmas time. And I mean, on top of that, the whole Gamora thing is still weighing on him, as they point out and whatnot, and they want to give him some Christmas joy. They want to give him some Christmas spirit, so they're gonna and the idea they come up with is going to Earth and kidnapping Kevin Bacon. Now, us Marvel fans, the real Marvel fans, we knew the day was coming where Kevin Bacon was going to show up in one of these Guardians movies. It had to happen. Like, they've mentioned it too many times. They've mentioned it in Infinity War, dude. It had to happen at some point. Kevin Bacon had to show up as Kevin Bacon. It just had to happen. So, when I saw the trailer, I was excited anyway. I was like, oh my God, Kevin Bacon. I got Kevin Bacon for this. But when you see, like, when Drax and Nebula go to Earth, it was fantastic, dude. It was so chaotic. They did more damage on Earth than maybe Loki's attack on New York. I swear, dude. I mean, you got Drax punching out people in robot costumes. You got Nebula stealing money and not only stealing from people, but stealing money. I mean, there's like, and then they kidnapped a man that they found out was an actor, and they hated his guts. Like, I don't want to spoil any of it for you because it just came out today, but this entire thing is just hilarious, dude. Drax and Nebula were always a great duo in both of the other in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Infinity War. Not much, you didn't really see them in Endgame much, but you don't see them at all in Endgame together, but I digress. They're a great duo, and those two work so well together. I don't know that actress's name. She's been in a couple other things too, but I don't know the actress's name off the top of my head, but she's great as Mantis. And there's a big reveal. There's a couple reveals. One, apparently they bought Nowhere. And by the way, they said they bought it from the Collector, so the Collector is still alive. Somewhere Benicio del Toro is out there as the Collector, still, we don't know where. I'm still waiting for my Collector and Grandmaster fucking short film. Now that would be a hell of a special. Get fucking Jeff Goldblum and Benicio del Toro in the same room to be just weirdos together. That would be interesting. But yeah, so they bought Nowhere from the Collector. I mean, I didn't know they had that much money to buy Nowhere, but yeah, so now the Guardians are like running an entire, town? I don't know, what would we consider Nowhere? What is Nowhere? It's not a planet. I mean, it's pretty big, but it's about the size, it's a bit smaller than a moon. It's smaller than a moon. I mean, actually, it might be about the same size as the moon, maybe. So yeah, Nowhere's about the size of a moon, of our moon. So like, what would we call Nowhere a planet? I don't know if I'd call Nowhere a planet. I don't know. Either way, they own Nowhere, so now they have responsibilities beyond just themselves, which is going to be interesting to see how they play that up in the movie. Because now they're not rogues anymore. They're straight heroes now. They're not, let's do a bit of good, let's do a bit of bad. It's like, no, it seems like they're just pretty much straight up heroes now, and Nowhere is their home, Nowhere is where they are. So it is very interesting. Those bits and a couple other bits are very fascinating. And they like there's a lot of lore in this too. If you're coming in this as an MCU fan, it has a lot of lore, but also it serves as a very great Christmas movie. Really does. It really serves as a really good Christmas movie with a message about Christmas, and the Mantis learns a lesson. Peter, like it has all the workings of a Hallmark Channel Christmas film. And it's a totally different vibe than Werewolf by Night. And honestly, it didn't need to be any longer than what it is. It didn't need to be more than what it was. It was just a straight shot of Christmas joy right to the heart. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Christmas special, or the holiday special. This is a 9 out of 10. I don't know if it's as great as Werewolf by Night, but this is another hit for these specials. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if they're gonna keep doing it like this. I mean, it'd be interesting if they did it like this. I'm curious what the next special's gonna be, or when they will announce the next special. I think Marvel's supposed to be at some type of con event next week, so maybe they'll announce it there. But yeah, the holiday special was lit. Like it was hilarious. It was fun. Kevin Bacon looked like he was having the time of his life. There ain't much else I could say about it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Anyways, thank you guys for the Comic Game Movie Show. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.